All right. It's a late stream today, but that's okay because I'm feeling perky. Yeah, that sounds right. I think I started watching Vosh around then too. I didn't even understand what a trans person was then. It really is remarkable how much the public awareness of transgender people has increased over the past, I guess it would be since, I don't know, 2015? What's up, guys? Now it seems like, as far as exposure goes, trans people run the world. Oh, wow, right off the bat with the links. What a surprise. My goodness. Tanya, the only question that I have for you is whether or not you think Timber is based in Red Pilled. That's all I need to know. Well, if people are linking RFK going hiking with Jenk, no way. Oh my god. What is going on over there, man? Okay. That's crazy. All right. Make sense? Yeah, I don't know. I I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess they touch grass. No, they're standing on the only part of the scenery that isn't grass. Also, if we're linking, polls show that RFK hurts Trump more than Biden. Yeah, that's what I said. I predicted this. I knew I was correct, and I'm glad that polling, which was invented by the devil and shouldn't be trusted unless it agrees with me. What? Go away. Where's the X? No. Why is it? Man, NBC News too? Really? No. Where's the X? Why? It's everything. Everything. God. Okay, so here we go. With two named candidates, the polling goes 44 to 46. But with five named candidates, it goes 39, 13, blank, blank, 6, 37. So Biden actually goes 4 points ahead because more Trump voters would vote for RFK Jr. than for Trump. I predicted this. That's pretty funny, though. Pretty funny. Anyway, man, just like, Jesus Christ. I. All right. Whatever, man. Yeah, fuck you, Benjamin. I saw that link. There you go, funny rhetorician. That's what it was for. Who's the third guy? This one? I don't know. So how y'all doing? I was out touching grass today. Also, I got a jacket. I got the jacket a while ago, but it was in the wrong size. So I got a size smaller. And it's good. Vosh, did you see the new Call of Duty gun that has World War II being fought on top of it? What? Why would a gun have a war being fought on top of it? How does that make sense? Why would I care about this? What is this? In what way is this relevant? I know a Hamiltonian. How is D&D? D&D is on Friday now. Hell yeah, Kadio, no kidding. Well, I hope it goes well. It's very important work. The real topic is that the in-game cosmetic that was $80 literally more than the game, lol. Honestly, if people are going to dump it on that shit, fuck whatever. Whatever. If you're enough of a lunatic that you're going to spend real-life money on cosmetics in a Call of Duty game, then you deserve to give the franchise more money anyway, because you're clearly getting more out of it than most people are. Yeah, do some whaling, you know? Whatever. Who cares? Honestly. What do you think of Taylor Swift's new album? Haven't heard it. Yeah, I saw that jump fall. It was pretty funny. I mean, I guess it was like slapstick funny, really. I don't really know the circumstances, but considering where that happened, that guy's probably pretty awful, right? I did a video on that, Revin89. Why would I know about that, Isaiah WaveX? Did I see this Elon meme, Lamau? No, I hate looking at memes. Get out of here with those memes. Okay, what is this that people were linking and talking about earlier? XQC presses Aiden as a passionate trans ally. 5.4 million views. Nice. What's up?
It's fucking insane.
I only care.
I guess I'm blocking. Here.
You're nuts.
Kids, bro. Leave the kids. He left. I only care about leaving the kids out of it, bro. I just got mad about the Target shit, and I get mad about, you know, TR, like having puberty blockers for kids. That's all. That's all I get mad about.
That doesn't happen though. It's like
X. It does. It does. Some parents allow.
I said it. I said it. Give me statistics. I said, give me examples. Give me articles. You have given me nothing.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Because I'm not informed. I don't really spend all my time doing this.
Just give me one.
I'll find.
This is remarkable too, because we all know where XQC is at cognitively. So he's actually talking to somebody who's significantly stupider than he is. He's like because XQC is friends with Destiny, right? So he's like channeling that right now. You know, he's locking in and channeling his stand to ask for studies on the subject.
Oh, it's like
X. It does. It does. Some parents allow.
I said it. I said it. Give me statistics. I said, give me examples. Give me articles. You have given me nothing.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Because I'm not informed. I don't really spend all my time doing this.
Just give me one.
Damn, holy shit! Aiden folded really quickly here in this clip. Oh my god, that was remarkably fast, huh?
I'll find some if I really take time to Google it. I can. I saw a number saying 17,000, but I want to look into it before I really use it as evidence.
So you're pushing a narrative with absolutely nothing, no backing, no knowledge, no statistics, and no examples.
But XQC, if you don't think there's ever been a minor that's taken puberty blockers, it's a no.
Okay, and you were mad about the tattoos earlier. And how many minors get tattoos?
Holy shit! How do you talk that quickly?
I don't agree with that though. I think minors should just not drink, get any type of tattoos, any permanent.
You don't seem to be very vocal about that though.
I just said that I don't.
Okay. Does anybody else feel like XQC is talking and acting like a Smiling Friends character? Fucking look at him.
Any type of tattoos, any
you don't
permanent.
You don't seem to be very vocal about that though.
Like
I just said that I.
This is like a bit. Like he's channeling the fucking Toonverse. He's literally doing. He's stimming like a fucking Smiling Friends character. That's fucking rad, you know? Hell yeah. Oh my god. This is just a little clip. Is there a full video? Is there Oh, there has to be a full video, and if so, can someone procure it, please? Yeah, 1 sec. Okay, gotcha. It's literally stimming because Aiden isn't enough of a challenge. Yeah, XQC is playing like paddleball, or like ball in a cup or something to try to hold it all together. I don't think we can help this guy. It's not about helping this guy, man. It's about watching. It's about watching two intellectual titans duke it out. In all seriousness, like between XQC and Aiden Ross, like there's no question who's worse, right? Like XQC is irresponsible and lazy and often quite like fucking stupid. Aiden Ross is literally the most like depraved, degenerate clout shark. Like will do anything, say anything. Like it's almost impossible to compare, you know? Chair sniffer, yeah. Full video. The full video is only 4 minutes long. Oh, finally, a video that I can cover. That's great. That's awesome. Hell yes. Yeah, okay.
A gender is like a social construct.
See, we're on two different.
Whoa. Yeah, we get it. We hear you.
Hey, listen, we're on two different. Hey, listen, let me tell you this. If I meet a man and he tell me that him being a man is a social construct, I slap the shit out of him. No,
Nice.
You're a fucking man. Okay? Yo, if God made you with a dick and a balls, you're a man. I don't care what you think about yourself.
So the context here, I assume, is that Train is hosting some kind of like kick debate. That's my guess.
You need to go deal with that. You need to go to Christ or anybody else. Allah, anybody. You got dick and balls, you are a man.
Man, that sure is a very sincerely religious person, huh? You gotta go to God. I don't care which God. Famously a thing that Christians believe. You just gotta go to God. You know, that's a very sincere religious belief, and not just secular reactionary politics being given the, like, meta-ethical weight of religion by invoking its name.
Social construct. Biology tells me what you are. You got a pussy, you a woman. You got a dick, you're a man. Again, we could make up these other rules, but that is the ground rules, brother. Like this whole, oh no, it's construct. It's like, dog, all right, I'm a penguin. Am I a penguin?
No. Yes. Easy. Easy. By the way, this is the debate circuit that you guys so desperately want me to get back on. These talking points have literally not updated for an entire decade. Like that's, yeah. That's great. It's very interesting conversations to be had here.
What X is saying is, so sex is male or female.
Right.
So you're correct, Ak and Aiden. There's male and there's female.
Yes, there is.
There's
two genders.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the biological attribute, right?
Correct.
Male and female, that's sex.
Yes.
Gender. See, like there's a miscommunication and misunderstanding of gender versus sex. Sex is female or male.
Woke train. Hold on. Woke train and the woke train.
Understand? So when you guys say there's two,
of course I understand.
When you guys say there's two genders, you're referring to those two sexes, right? Gender is actually a social construct.
There you go. So why tell me I'm wrong about this? I was wrong about that.
Behaviors and certain things of certain different, right? Like, so when you say is there two genders, what you mean are there two sexes? Yes, there's two sexes. There's male and there's female. You understand? So like you're both arguing two different things. That's
academics. Stop. Academics. Have you ever gone to a gender reveal party? We don't call it a sex reveal party. You call it a gender reveal party.
That's why it's called a social construct.
Like genuine, like it's difficult to even cover this too, because like I feel like the only thing I can really say is like, you all know this is, it's like so Freezer temp IQ, yeah. It's remarkable. Where is Destiny, man? This is like a panel debate. Destiny's on good terms with Train and XQC, right? I mean, I guess my information might be out of date. Where is he? There's not anything new here. No, of course not. God, no. Yeah, where is Mr. Benelli? Where is Mr. Berlusconi? Okay, where is he? Mr. Borelli, yeah. Maybe even he is bored of it. I have to assume that on some level he has to as well, right? I think that he probably has more patience for some of the more, like, grindy, stupid blood sports, repeat the same shit over and over nonsense than I do. Like, he probably tires of that less easily than me. But he still would tire of it past a point, right? I don't know. He's going on C-SPAN? Nice. Social media's young voter. Young voters. Well, I don't know about that, okay? Now, I might be a young spring chicken of 30 myself, but what is Mr. Benelli? 32? Young vote? I don't know. Getting up there in years now. Stephen Bennell, Brad Palumbo discusses social media young voters in campaign 2024. Nice. I wonder if this will like. I wonder if he'll like involve PV at all. I don't know if that connection is there or if it's just like a general discussion. I'm not sure. Either way, any clout that PV gets is good. Isn't he pushing 40? Yeah, I think Steven's like 53, 54. Yeah, I'm not sure.
He capping because put it like this. If you meet some of these grown-ass niggas who think they females, if you ask them what sex they are, they're not going to say they're actually male. They're going to say they're a female.
Again, like this guy's arguments are beneath responding to or like being worth responding to. I think that it really depends on which trans person you talk to. Also, taking hormones literally does change your sexual attributes. So, you know, what universe these guys live in? Well, it's not that they live in a different universe. It's that not like they don't care. Okay, everyone here cares about different things. Okay, Aiden and probably the guy in the top right literally only care about satiating the 12-year-olds that watch them. I'm just guessing with the guy in the top right. I don't know, but I'm right, okay? I know at least this is the case for Aiden. Like, this is very disposable content. You know, there are very few people who watch and get obsessed with their content past a certain age or IQ level. So their job is just to be entertaining to a sort of rolling wave of dipshits. And to that point, you know, you have to be like a certain kind of argumentative and abrasive and stupid, right? Train wants to promote kick, okay? I don't know what XQC is doing here. That I don't know about. So, you know, that's the gaping hole in my knowledge right there.
They want to identify
on all the on all the government forms, on all the government forms you filled out. Does it not say sex M/F?
We're not talking about government forms. Yo, respectfully, we're not talking about government forms. Yo, we're talking about, like, I completely get your argument, and you're right. But the people we're talking about, they want to be able to pick not only gender but sex. They're picking.
Like, what does this even mean? They want to pick sex? Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. If trans people could just like press a little button and pick their sex, you know, I bet that would save them a lot of time and like hormone costs. I don't know what this means. It seems kind of like incoherent. What is he even saying? I don't know.
That doesn't seem right.
Have you met someone that is like I gotta be clear because I know I'm still on Twitch. Trans, and if do you think they identify like, oh, I'm actually a male sex wise, but I consider myself as a woman? They don't. They call themselves a woman and a female. That's a fact. Why y'all acting like they still?
But using female as an adjective also can refer to gender. I mean, we literally use like female pronouns to describe stuff like bridges and boats. So, yeah, it's like the gender reveal argument, where it's like, you know, you're not really engaging with the substance of any position on trans issues or anything related to gender theory. You're just kind of like pointing at social signifiers that vaguely kind of sort of maybe look like they agree with you, and soy pointing at them and going like, oh my god, look at these like Beyond chicken nuggets or something. Yeah.
Consider themselves a male.
They still mean the gender though. Like, and if they don't, they're wrong. But that doesn't. Why?
Non-woke XQC. Wow. You can change your sex, obviously. Well, what do hormones do, right?
Just so enraged and compelled to write them. That's the government's fucking thing to do that. If they misrepresent themselves on a government form, they're now wrong. That's fucking illegal. If they say sex and they misrepresent themselves, that's actually wrong. Why do you feel like you have to go, no, you are this, you are that? Yo, chill the fuck out, bitch ass. Chill out.
Correct them. I don't feel compelled to correct them. I'm just showing the fallacy in what you just try to explain.
Not a fallacy.
And you don't know, well, maybe not you, but
why does the distinction between sex and gender never stick in these people's heads? It's not that it doesn't stick in their heads. These guys aren't just like random viewers. These two like profit from being reactionary. It's like Ben Shapiro has had this explained to him probably literally hundreds of times, and they don't care. But to be clear, it's not like they don't care in a I don't think that supports your argument kind of way. It's they don't care in that they literally don't even care about the argument being made. They just want the cheap dunks on trans people. Like, that's it, you know?
Trainwreck said, well, you know what? You guys are right. Sex, there's only two sexes, but you could have multiple genders because that's a social construct. I'm telling you that usually if someone, and by the way, I'm not even passionate about this, truth be
Right.
told.
Right,
but
right.
usually if someone, say someone was born, right, a female, they was born with a pussy, right? If they want to now identify as a man, they're not gonna then tell people, I am a
DJ Academics literally cried once on stream for not being able to call gay people slurs. I'm guessing this guy is DJ Academics because he's the only person here whose name I don't know.
female by sex, but I am a man by gender.
Because they're acting in a social way with other social beings, using a social construct to fucking communicate. They're using a social construct.
This is actually like below my ability to comment on. That's kind of crazy, you know? Jesus Christ. It'd be like trying to have a conversation on like climate change, and I walk into the forum to discuss it, and everyone else there is already arguing over which dance pattern of a rain dance is most likely to procure like favorable weather for the crops, you know? They're like, I walk in and I've got like some basic like bachelor's level charts on climate change, you know, and they're all like, no, side to side, then stomp. And then they all look like they're about to fight each other. Like, I'm like, I don't know how to engage. No, stomp first. Well, you know. Nice. Do you think that if sex actually was a binary and couldn't be changed in any meaningful sense, would it make trans people any less valid? Well, I mean, transgender would still be a thing, right? Because we recognize that as a separate construct. If there was literally no way to change any sexual attribute, which it'd be pretty weird if that was the case, but if there was no way, then yeah, I mean, there would be like a much more rigid sex definition. But we don't even have like a solid definition for what biological sex is, you know? Like, you can talk about gametes all you want, but there are people with, like, non-standard gametes that... So is it like, well, actually there are 16 sexes, but only 2 of them are normally expressed? Because if that's the case, like... But conservatives don't want to do... The conservative response to the idea of, like, there is literal, objective, medical, biological evidence that it's not a binary is, well, you can't count the exceptions, which is like, okay, so you're saying that exceptions can exist outside the binary. What about trans people? And they're like, well, no. So it's dumb, you know. Boring ass conversations. Thank you guys for the 17 links to that one specific video. I definitely didn't see it the past 16 times. I don't care, Hudson the Gamer. Having XQC be the smartest person in a call would likely land me in a padded room. Oh yeah, to be sure. Very, very bad. Very dangerous. If you want to see academics get rolled. I don't know anything about this guy, but you say he's huge?
What about like Gunna or like Thug?
How old are you?
Yo, who you got more respect for though? Like, what about like Gunna or like Thug?
How old are you?
31.
Damn.
Oh my god, am I blocking it? Am I
Yo,
covering
who
it?
you got more respect for
Oh my
though?
God.
Like, what about like Gunna or like Thug?
How old are you?
31.
Damn.
Yo, who you got more respect for though? Like, what about like Gunna or like?
All right, sorry. That's pretty funny. He's like the biggest rap blogger in the US. Okay, I don't know. It seems so out of step with everything else because like you look online and on Kick or whatever, and there are people called like Blumbo Scrumbo with 30,000 viewers, all of whom are 12. And they show up every day to watch them like do slots and talk about how trans women are men. And then you look in the real world and there are trans people everywhere in modern culture, and they're more accepted than they ever have been. You know, there's such a huge disconnect. He used to be, now he just sucks Drake's dick for clout. Wait, really? How are you gonna be like a alpha male, transphobe, reactionary, pals around with fascists, rap blogger type guy, but also suck Drake's dick? Isn't Drake like the guy everyone makes fun of for being fruity? Isn't Drake the guy who like floats towards the pie on the windowsill whenever he can smell it? Isn't Drake the guy who says like, I really needed this after hanging out with his friends and having a good time? Like, that's the guy? That's the, okay, all right, just, okay, yeah, he's that guy. Okay, all right, he's that guy. He's that guy. Okay, all right, just, yeah, okay. Just like me, for real, for real. No, 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 I also float towards the pie on the windowsill. That, I mean, I'm not saying, yeah. Hmm. Drake, the kind of guy who says no more Mr. Nice Guy before writing a diss track. Yeah. No, no, no. Okay, comrade. This is so out of my wheelhouse. I don't know. I don't care, Doombot. Drake the kind of guy to ask where my hug at. Okay. Drake the kind of guy to take free ducks from the park. Nah, no, that's a cool thing to do. No, 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 that's different. Drake the type of guy to say now a silly one when taking group photos. That's true. That's true. Drake's the kind of guy to say, stop, this isn't like you. Okay, we have to stop. These always get me. They're always... They always get me. Okay. Okay. All right, what is all this? Yeah, we're going to continue covering the Columbus stuff, but not tonight. We're probably going to cover that tomorrow. I actually got an email from a student who was arrested for protesting over there. I'll see if I can talk to them. Maybe, maybe not.
This is an important topic. This is not just about Columbia. This is every U.S. college. They have said that they are going to bring down Columbia first, and then as a domino effect, we'll have all other universities. But I want to make clear one thing before I talk about my own actions. What we're seeing now at Columbia, and I don't use this word lightly, we're not seeing ideology.
This was the guy who posted a video of him showing a bunch of Muslims doing prayer, and the caption to the video was like, please send help, send the National Guard, please God help us, spread the word of what's happening here.
Logical war. We're not seeing support for terrorism. We are seeing terrorism. Last night, we had at Columbia a protester, one of the protesters in the student mob, holding a sign calling the El Qassam Brigade, the Hamas military wing, to kill Jewish students with a arrow pointing at the Jewish students that were standing there, right?
Okay, now I could be wrong on this, but I'm gonna put forward my hat, my non-existent hat, and I'm gonna ask: did the sign actually say Jewish? Or did it say Zionist? And was it actually pointed at Jewish students? Or was it pointed at the counter-protesters? Like, you can't know whether a person is Jewish just by looking at them. Like, sometimes you can, if they have the kippah on or whatever, but... Oh, wow, I was right. Al-Qassam's next targets, and it's pointed at these dipshits over here. The Zionist counter-protester crowd. Yeah. Okay, cringe. Well, in fairness, right now, Zionists are responsible for orders of magnitude more murder than Hamas, so, like, whatever. Like, these people are literally advocating for one side of a conflict that is genociding a minority population. So to say, you know, no, the other guys are going to get you, isn't exactly like an unwarranted persecutory, like, you know, not exactly a call for a pogrom. Like I said, we'll cover more of this later. People are saying Columbia completely locked down campus. Yeah. Even the White House has put out a new disgusting response. While every American has the right to peaceful protest, calls for violence and physical intimidation targeting Jewish students in the Jewish community are blatantly anti-Semitic, unconscionable, and dangerous. I guess I just... me not being aware of everything that has happened here, I don't know if this has happened at all. Like, obviously, if there are any anti-Semitic statements being made or any, like, Jewish students being targeted for being Jewish, then there's that. And also, if you're saying, like, fuck these Zionists, but you're, like, obviously going after Jews, you know, okay, like, that's one thing, but, you know. And echoing the rhetoric of terrorist organizations, especially in the wake of the worst massacre committed against the Jewish people since the Holocaust, is despicable. Right. So, what it... Did you hear about October 7th? No, what's October 7th? I haven't heard about it. Students have been saying outsider and agitator groups have been coming in and stirring up shit. Yeah, probably.
We are seeing Hamas on campus, and this makes President Minouche Shafik a Hamas supporter.
Remember how this guy just said he doesn't like to overstate things, and now he's saying that Hamas is literally there at Columbia University? That woman wasn't a pro-Palestine Hamas person. She was pro-Israel, saying the next targets are Jewish students in America. Wait, really? Wait. You're saying that person who was holding the sign, blank, blank, next targets, that wasn't even... This person isn't a protester. This person is a counter-protester. If that's the case, then why would they be wearing the Palestinian... What is it called? That's the thingy. Yeah, the kifaya, or whatever the fuck it's pronounced. Yeah, I think you're wrong. Like, this is a protester, not a counter-protester. To make them look like a protest? Oh, so you're saying this is like an op, like a false flag. I mean, it might be. All I'm saying is that even if it is a false flag, I don't understand. Like, the people over here waving these flags, you know what they're signifying with the flag waving? They're saying Israel continues the slaughter. Like, that is the thing. Like, there's an ongoing war and one-sided genocide, and they are waving in support of the genociders. Like, they're not exactly like neutral, you know. If anything, it sounds more to me like, you know, if you're going to call for war, then you should be at the front lines.
Every minute that she does not let in the NYPD, because she's not letting them in. That's why you see the NYPD outside and the terrorists inside. We've had the leader of the domestic terrorist organization within our lifetime. They had a wedding for her yesterday inside. She snuck in. You see the video you're showing right now? There is a suspended student, the one with the bullhorn, that's a suspended. They've been suspended for 2.5 weeks for a radical organizer that brought in a PFLP terrorist to campus. They're supposed to be suspended from campus. President Minouche Shafik supports Hamas. President Minouche Shafik supports Islamic Jihad.
This guy sounds like hysterical. Like, leaving aside the fact that this guy is actually deranged and has been, like, harassing students and being incredibly Islamophobic, he genuinely sounds like he's having a fit. Like he's being hysterical. Like his breathy, the way he keeps repeating things, like he actually sounds like he's going through it, you know?
Because every minute that she doesn't let the NYPD clear out these terrorists from campus, she's a terrorist supporter. And I stand by my word.
So what actual harm has been done? Like I'm genuinely asking, what actual harm has been done? It's a big protest. I'm sure some people here are doing something bad, you know? Yeah, I know, okay, comrade. Like what? Like where's the big like whiny Zionist write-up and all the terrible stuff that the protesters at Columbia have been doing? They ruin the grass. Yeah, I suppose. Here, Columbia protests. Like what? I guess we're not doing it tomorrow. Columbia University faces full-blown crisis as rabbi calls for Jewish students to return home. That's great. What's actually happened, though? As a rabbi linked to the Ivy League school urged Jewish students to stay home. This is fuck CNN. This is such a fucking biased thing to open with. So just a rabbi said this? Like, what if conservatives were saying Christians were at threat and one local priest was like, yeah, Christians better stay at home. The great persecution is coming. And it's like, oh, yep, that's how bad it is for Christians, guys. A priest said it. One guy. The atmosphere is so charged that Columbia officials announced students can attend classes and even possibly taking exams virtually starting Monday, the first day of Passover. Okay, what has actually happened? Tensions, 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 tensions. Okay, we are on paragraph 5 with not a single description of anything that has happened. Now we're getting the repeat of the rabbi saying Jewish students stay home. Nothing yet has explained, not a single thing. Have there been any attacks? Have there, like, it's a huge protest. I'm sure some of the people doing it are anti-Semitic. Like, I'm sure something bad has happened to a Jewish student. Is there any, like, just anything? So yeah, this entire opening section has no explanation of anything going on, like at all. It's literally just saying tensions are high and people are saying things are dangerous. And now here's the White House statement. Okay, we saw the bit from the White House statement. Cool. Discomfort and fear. What about any actual things that have happened? What about a thing? Has a thing happened? Here's the third reminder that one guy told Jewish students to stay home. A time of fear and discomfort. The rabbi said, oh, here's the one guy, fourth time. The rabbi sent the message after video circulated showing a man outside the university saying, never forget the 7th of October, and that will happen not one more time, not 5 more times, not 10 more times, not 100 more times, not 1,000 more times, but 10,000 times. That's pretty fucking wordy. That's wordy. I feel like you could cut that one down. Is that it? Well, okay, keep in mind to these lunatic Zionists, when they hear, like, a person say, October 7th will happen again, what they think that means is just, like, indiscriminate targeting of Jewish people, and not what it is almost certainly intended as here, but, like, violent reprisal for the suppression of Palestinian people, which that can happen when you violently suppress an ethnic group, yeah. Like, yeah, but to them, I guess, what they think they're hearing is, like, a 10,000 Holocausts or something. Still not, like, responsible rhetoric. Oh, thank you for the links with no explanations, guys. Panda Panda, you're doing it right. Columbia students organizing in solidarity with Palestine, including Jewish students, have faced harassment, doxing, now arrested by the NYPD. Wow, we finally arrived at something having actually happened, and it's the police coming in to arrest the pro-Palestinian students. Wow, it took like 50 paragraphs, but we eventually arrived at something having actually happened, and it's being done to the other side, to our side. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. What the fuck, Vosh? Assad has apparently been having meetings with the U.S. We need a new Middle Eastern puppet state. And now that Israel is a rogue state, it's time. It's time, boys. It's time. Time for us to forge an alliance with the least problematic nation and leader in the Middle East, who has absolutely no blood in his hands, okay? Bashar al-Assad. Let's fucking go. It's finally time. Gaza Solidarity Encampment enters its 5th day. Columbia campus rabbi Yonah Hay. Is this the same rabbi? Is this like the 50th mention, or is that a different rabbi? No. It was Rabbi Ilay Buchler? Buchler? Thank you, Legio Keller, I saw. Yeah, exactly. Syria, the only true democracy in the Middle East. Have you seen his election numbers? So true. Okay, so this entire article seems to indicate literally nothing is going on. Like, they keep saying peaceful protest, peaceful protest. If only it was peaceful protest. But it's like, where's the non-peaceful protest, right? Okay, here's the lunatic guy who was just on the news station that we saw. Yesterday in Congress, the president of Colombia said that 3 radical organizers who invited an actual PFLP terrorist to campus have been suspended. In the first 4 seconds of the video, you can see one of these quote-unquote suspended organizers marching today on campus. Okay, I obviously don't believe anything he says, so I don't care. It's non-information to me. Looks like they're chilling. I went to Columbia and was active daily in Jewish life on campus. This gives me so much joy and pride. Via The Independent with a Y for some reason. Neat. Jewish students celebrate Shabbat and song at the Columbia Gaza Solidarity Encampment. Nice. We boppin'? We bippin', we boppin'? We love our bippin' boppin'. Oh, I know this song from Prince of Egypt. Unironically, there have been a bunch of Jewish students in the protests. Yeah, of course, right? There's a reason why Zionists, like seriously, if you take a look at like demographically, Zionists are almost always old. Young people are overwhelmingly anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian, Jewish or otherwise, you know? Young Jewish people tend to be very left-leaning. And yeah, and it's Columbia. These are college students, for God's sakes. There are some very cringe chants being shouted. Yeah, but that gets shouted at every protest. That doesn't, like, on its own, that doesn't mean anything. All right, we're doing our bopping. Okay, nice. What are these links? Okay, this refers to the White House response, which we looked at. Alarming surge of anti-Semitism. That's true, but not for the reasons you think. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he's horrified and disgusted by anti-Semitism at Columbia University protests. All right, what anti-Semitism are we referring to? Where? Okay. Mayor Adams called out specific examples of hate speech, such as a young woman holding a sign with an arrow pointed to Jewish students saying, sorry, wrong. Jewish students, those weren't just a random group of Jewish students. Those were people waving Israeli flags. Try again. Those students might have been Jewish. I don't know. How can you tell by looking at somebody whether or not they're Jewish? It's like an ethnic, cultural, and religious signifier. You know, how do you, like, but in addition to that, it wasn't just like a random group of Jews. They were doing something that led to them being targeted with that sign. You know, waving the flag of a nation currently engaging in a genocide. Yeah, many such cases. Funny rhetorician. Eric Adams approval rating. Well, Eric Adams is always going to be like a hardliner pro-Jew as much as possible because in New York City is full of Jewish people. You know, is what New York City is the actual Israel in terms of being like a safe haven. God damn, 73% disapproval. That's crazy. Well, it looks like he's lost the support anyway, so fucking who knows. All right, what else here? Oh, here's somebody saying that they were attacked.
Strategic, and I want you to think about what do you really want.
I do think that the sign the girl had went too far. Do you disagree? Okay, Exel, let me put it this way. Okay, I think the sign was bad optics, but also like if there were a bunch of students on a college campus back in 2003 who were in support of America, like there was an anti-Iraq war protest, and then there were some counter-protesters who were waving American flags and saying like, yeah, fuck them, yeah, invade them, yeah, fuck invade the Middle East, and some guy was holding a sign saying like Saddam's next targets or whatever. Would you like I feel like in any other context we would identify this for what it is, which is mocking pro-war people, you know? It's the media's dishonest attempts to make it about like, yeah, they were pointing to just Jewish students. You notice how, I'm sorry, where was that link? Yeah, notice how a young woman holding a sign with an arrow pointing to Jewish students stating Al-Qassam's next targets, they don't even mention the Israeli flags. The way these dishonest hacks in the media talk about it, the way these liars talk about it, they're just like, oh yeah, it was just a random group of Jewish students, which if that was the case, that would be anti-Semitic as fuck, right? That would be like, that'd be super anti-Semitic. Like, why are you going after Jews? What do Jews have to do with it? You know, why are you doing that? You know? But of course they're lying. They're waving the fucking Israeli flags. That's why. It's a counter protest for genocide. That is why they are doing that. Like, why is she standing here? Look at what they're doing. Do I know this person's Jewish? I don't, who knows? Do you think that she like went up there and asked, hey, are you Jewish? Hey, are you Jewish? Hey, and if these were all like non-Jews, then she would have like not, you know, like, oh, this is fine actually. Idiotic. The media is lying to you. Sorry to repeat the obvious. It's just incredibly weaselly. Vosh, I think this is a really bad take. I don't understand. It's an anti-war protest, and then there are people there being pro-war, and then they're there waving flags indicating that they're pro-war. So you say, oh yeah, they're the ones they're going to go after next. I feel like versions of this have happened so many different times in so many different conflicts. I don't understand, like, we all agree at the very least that the media is objectively lying by framing it as though the reason that they were being pointed to was because they're Jewish and not because they were waving Israeli flags, right? Like, that is an obvious lie. Okay, yeah. Also, to be perfectly honest, I don't really get... When I hear about people condemning a protest, I'm usually looking for, like, indications that the protest itself has gone bad. You can take individual photos of people being cringe in literally any environment. Like, literally any environment. Like, BLM protests, like, wow, you found a guy with a sign saying, like, kill all whiteys. You know, great, phenomenal, that's bad. You know, but that's always what they do to delegitimize protests like this, you know? Well, funny rhetorician, Israel wants to associate Israel and Jewish people. They've been doing that for decades. Like, that's a deliberate strategy. Benjamin Gilbert Liff, what I am telling you is the sign probably was wishing for violence, so is waving Israeli flags at a pro-Palestinian protest. What do you think you're saying by waving an Israeli flag in that context? You're saying continue the genocide. Like, both of those are calls for violence. Both of those are expressions of support for violence. Though, of course, those waving the Israeli flags want, you know, more J-dams to incinerate, like, infants down there in Rafah, whereas the person holding the sign just wants warmongers and genociders pointed to. Anyway. Is there anything else here? Literally just that? Another woman, where a woman is literally yelling, "We are Hamas." Okay? Or another where groups of students are chanting, "We don't want no Zionists here." This is how fucking cooked the discourse is. Eric Adams, the mayor of one of the largest cities in the world, is saying that this is an example of hate speech. We don't want no Zionists here. This is objectively not hate speech. Like, this is absolutely, undeniably not hate speech. But it's being framed as such. Like, and the media, ABC News, is just reporting it with no, like, critical engagement, you know? Insane. 1% of the student population has been booted from Columbia/Bernard. Well, that's a different one, okay, comrade. At 21 seconds in, there were anti-Semitic chants about Yehudis, which means Jews. In what language does that mean Jews? Oh, here's Shai Davidia, sorry, Dividai, or whatever the fuck. The freak who was in the news station, literally just like, hyper-fixatedly posting videos of protesters. We try to avoid sharing the worst of what is going on Columbia's campus right now. We can no longer stay quiet. Grifter speech. Grifter speech. Grifter alert. Wow. Uncultured ass bitch. Wow, the hate speech. Known anti-Semitic slurs. Ass bitch.
All you do is
I'm really sorry, but if you're politically aligning yourself with Israel, I think that the claims "you have no culture, all you do is colonize" are pretty substantiated by the evidence. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You've kind of opened yourself up to that one. This guy's been doing this for a while. Owen Jones and Mehdi Hassan caught him intentionally editing videos like Andy Norwood to make Palestinian protesters look worse. Really? And he still kept on as an associate professor.
Who's your boss? We are here for him.
The Amazon gift card?
Let's go. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. I guess I'm kind of curious where the rhetoric is even coming from on that. Like, I feel like, at least as an American, my perception would be, if you were going to make fun of all of the, like, recent immigrants over into Israel not having been from there, it would be from America, like Boston or New York City or something, you know? Yeah, that's bad. Keep in mind that there are a lot of people right now going to Israel for the same reason that the Dutch went down to South Africa 300 years ago, okay? Like, again, this isn't like, they're not saying, leave our country, other race or ethnicity. They're saying, you are literally, in our lifetime, moving over to an ongoing settler colonial project, you know? That's the thing that makes, like, Israel unique over a lot of these other countries that have a history of settler colonialism, whereas in Israel, it's, like, actively happening, which is very strange. But they're chanting it to Americans, though? Yeah, so that's what I'm confused by. Because if they're saying to Jews or Zionists in America, like either group, I mean, because obviously in a protest setting, people are going to, like, throw shit out there, like, to groups, you know? But, like, if they're saying that to Americans, what are you saying? Is there, like, a big wave of immigration from Poland and Belarus to America? The claim would be that they're going down to Israel, right? So I don't really understand the chant, because it would only really make sense if you were going to it if you were saying it to people in Israel, right? Like, if you went down to Israel and said, and there was a big protest, and you were like, go to blank, go to this country, go to that country. Well, a lot of the people literally immigrated over there in their lifetimes, so. I don't understand it being done in America, though. It's also one guy who said that. Yeah, well, I mean, I generally don't care about the behavior of individuals at protests if they're meant to, like, paint a picture of the entire protest. This is a pretty big sit-in, you know? Like, what, one guy shows up and shouts, you know? I'm just, like, examining the stuff that they're using as tenuous evidence. Yeah, we talked about that before, Quoteth. Seems like a real piece of shit.
Yo, make sure Johnny and Dave are good. Make sure they're good.
I don't even know what's happening here. From the water to the water, Palestine will be Arab. Why are they saying why aren't they saying from the river to the sea? Is this a new one? Did they update it? Has it been translated? Did they put it through like 2 layers of Google Translate? Well, seems like a psyop. Why would that be a psyop? They're not get censored, maybe? But they're at a protest. Anti-Israel... Oh, this is new. This is a different protest. It's totally different. Not the Colombia one. Probably, you don't have to hand it to them with the Hezbollah flag. Who knows, maybe they were Lebanese, okay? Newlyweds came to Gaza Solidarity encampment from her wedding to give words of encouragement to students. Oh, that's nice.
Stop it right now with everything we have from everywhere we are. We will resist genocide at our universities, at our workplaces.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is this the Hamas terrorist that lunatic kept referring to? This one, Nordine Kiswani? This one? That is that name. This is the Hamas terrorist that guy was referring to?
In the streets of New York City and after our major life events, yes, like this wedding, because we will resist genocide, we will resist annihilation.
Well, is she a terrorist?
Necessary. Gaza, you will rise! Gaza, you will rise! Palestine will never die! Palestine will never die! There is only one solution! There is only one solution! Intifada revolution! Intifada.
She runs within our lifetime United for Palestine. But didn't the guy said the person was from the PFLP, or was that a different thing? This is the super duper Hamas person who came in, and then another person is from the PFLP?
Revolution! People all over the country are standing with you guys. Do not stop. Keep going. Any support you need from us, from the...
What a bad chat. That's so violence code. What are you guys? I'm sorry. Did I wake up? Did I misplace my stream key? Am I streaming to a different community of people? What on earth is going on with you guys? Are you kidding? Vosh, I'm not sympathetic to anything that is clearly a one-state solution from any side. I don't care. I'm sympathetic to literally any pro-Palestinian sentiment. Are you kidding me? They're currently dying. What do you like? What? Wow. Yeah. Maybe go back to the drawing board with that argument. Yeah, you know, 50 babies might be getting mulched a second by American-donated fighter jets, but that's no excuse to engage in bad rhetoric. Come on, guys. If you guys applied this standard during BLM, you motherfuckers would have been right out there with the chuds complaining about every fucking, like, tipped-over trash can and broken shop window and, you know, torched brush. You have to understand the bigger picture.
Broader Palestine movement from people across the world, let us know, because be here to stand with you, and there will continue to be deoccupation.
Genuine question, Vosh. Am I wrong for thinking for calling an intifada revolution? Is that what she's intifada? Do you mean intifada? Not that. Okay, I know what intifada is. Intifada. I didn't know what that was. Yeah. If you think that like a person calling for like an intifada revolution means that they like, if you hear that and you automatically assume it's bad, I think that's on you. Again, they're an oppressed minority that is currently being like fucking stomped. Like revolutionary violence is not only something that they are legitimate for thinking of, but like, you know, let's be real here, okay? If Palestinian Arabs could have seen into the future and known what was going to happen to them 100 years ago, like they would have gone the defensive violence they would have preemptively engaged in against the like Zionist militias and the you know, the mandates you know, imposed by the UN probably would have ramped up significantly. Like we're talking like it's been like a century of crushing, you know? It's like I don't know. I don't get it. Like everybody out there waving an Israeli flag is literally waving it in support of the continued mulching of Palestinian civilians. Like this isn't like at least with Russia. Russia is fighting a militarized nation, Ukraine. If you support Russia, you can theoretically rationalize that as you supporting Russia's military fighting against the Ukrainian military. That's not the case here. Like, everybody waving an Israeli flag is a butcher. They're barbarous. It's ridiculous, you know? What is this person whining about? Oh, you got chud marked in like 2 seconds. Oh my god. Well, wasted effort, I'm afraid. Exel, honestly, I think you're whining. I get that. I agree Israel's pretty fucked up, but still I can't help but genuinely perceive some of the stuff by the pro-Palestinian stuff goes too far. It always does. That's how all protests work. Every protest for every cause, even good ones, every single one, you can find like, oh, I don't know about that. You have to keep big picture focused, but every single message you put in chat has been like, I don't know. Here.
Patients across the entire country. You guys are leading the way, so please don't give up. Please, the Palestinian people.
It's concern. I don't think it's concern filling from Exo. You just always understand that, like, what the mainstream media is trying to do right now is exactly the same thing that Tim Pool and Andy Ngo and all those dumb fucks tried to do with Black Lives Matter, except it's working on some of you, okay? It's the exact same strategy. A morally unambiguous dichotomy between people who want police reform versus people who want black men to die like gasping for air on the pavement, you know? That is the line. There is a right and wrong side. And inevitably, when you get enough people who are fighting for the right side, some people are going to be cringe, and it is the job then of the other side to find the cringe behavior, to hyperfixate, to blow it up, to lie about it. And that's what we've seen. Did we not just see a CNN article that was all about how terrifying Columbia University is, that didn't mention a single thing that had been done to a single person on the Zionist or Jewish side, and then as a little footnote, a little aside, oh yeah, police came in and like arrested a bunch of like pro-Palestinian protesters. Well, that seems like something that actually happened, huh? And then we look at the ABC article quoting Eric Adams, and they're talking about how the person was holding that sign up in front of Jewish students, not in front of people waving the fucking Israeli flag, you know? Like, this is what they are doing right here is morally unconscionable and is identical to what people like Andy Ngo did. They're just doing it from an institutional framework, you know? Like, it's always one thing or another, right? It's Fox News showing one building that got burnt down for 3 years while talking about any kind of civil rights protest, or it's I don't know, abcnews.go.com/whatever, talking about how, like, actually, you know, don't look at the evidence here, don't look at the images being referred to, they might not align with the narrative. Sure, it's working on me, but I think it's worth trying to keep our side looking better. Why give them ammo? Okay, Senator Armstrong, Dr. Xavius, please refine your psychic powers and magically make hundreds of millions of people never behave poorly at protest. An effort that has never worked ever for any group at any point, but please feel free to. You know, it's a student protest. Like, go ahead, sure. Run down to Columbia, you know, enroll. They've got pretty strict requirements, so I hope your grades are good. You know, you run up there and then somehow convince everyone there. Oh, and by the way, you're not just convincing the students there, because it is laughably easy to go in there as a counter-protester and do a little bit of psyop work, you know? You can go in there, pretend to be with the pro-Palestinian side, shout like, oh, I am anti-Semitic, blah, blah, and then like run out and congratulations, your friends were already there recording that. They've got it. Your face wasn't shown, totally covered. Now they've got it. Wow, student shown saying anti-Semitic stuff at a protest, you know? There you go. Like, just don't make yourself vulnerable to these narratives. Of course, people should try to be as responsible as possible when it comes to their rhetoric, but all the lying and, like, you know, monstrous nonsense we're seeing right now, it's coming from the other side. So let's make sure we focus on that. All right. Oh, we already saw this one.
Stop killing children!
Yehudim. So does Yehudim mean Jew? Is that what that means? Yeah? Okay, then that's anti-Semitic. We found one. Ding! Though, do we know who's saying it? It sounds like it's one person. Like, do we know? We have no way of knowing. It's like this is how the narrative is constructed, you know? It's like that for all of these. Honestly, given the tension, I'm surprised nobody's been assaulted. Like, genuinely, all those students? The insane professor was also investigated since January after 50+ students reported him for getting them attacked and harassed. Yeah, this guy's fully been doing the, like, libs of TikTok thing. Where anytime, like, a person coughs near him, he's like, ah, this is anti-Semitism, and I'm going to, like, hey, Eric Adams? My Jice.
On whose behalf Rosenberg was acting seems to have been invented whole cloth, solely for the purpose of disciplining student activism.
Yeah, that professor we keep referring to apparently is the child of an incredibly wealthy person. The Corp Davidai's dad helped run, also makes award-winning parts for landmines, AR-15s, but like he's literally the child of like a military-industrial complex baron. So okay, remember, this is being cut together by Fox News, so this is supposed to look like really, really, really spooky.
Occupation no more! 5, 6, 7, 8! 5, 6, 7, 8! Israel is a terrorist state! Israel is a terrorist state! Israel, you can't hide!
True, Nanowood.
You can't hide!
Columbia University has an immense history of fighting for anti-colonial and anti-imperialist movements, and the banning of SJP and JVP is a really dangerous precedent to set.
Aside from whatever stance one takes in the genocide that's happening in Gaza right now, it's a really chilling thing to happen in America that a student group would be disbanded just for planning a protest.
And the entire mainstream media apparatus coming down on these students and attacking them and lying about them, you know, like fully just lying, like straightforwardly.
It's justified, yeah, more or less. I mean, if it's true that it wasn't like that they were like violating, you know, some rules that Columbia had laid out, and that there was like a warning about it, I think it's justified. Yeah.
I think it was entirely unjustified. I don't know why we would support some voices and not others.
I'd say as long as people aren't promoting hate speech. It's wrong to curb any sort of freedom of speech.
Just because that it's a very charged moment right now for JVP and SJP.
Do you think anti-Semitism, stuff like the Jew comment from earlier in the video, is actually common at these protests? Nope. And if it was, you would see more video of it. That's why the one video we did see was late at night with one guy following the camera person shouting it. Interestingly, the guy wasn't even filmed, you know? Maybe he was in some other clip, but in that clip that we saw, it was just from behind. Literally anyone could have done that. The real marker for me is like what is tolerated in the group of the protest, like what is tolerated in the like the broader chants or speeches or whatever else, you know. But yeah, otherwise, like, you know, if you loosen your standard, like any Juan guy could be it.
Doesn't mean that they can like bypass the rules that this campus has laid out to keep the student body safe.
I think the suspension wasn't justified because there were ulterior motives for the suspension. I mean, it was they said it was because of event policy, but if it really was, then you have to apply it everywhere. Like, regardless of where we stand politically, what ideologies we have, we should be able to...
It reminds me of that one Pride Parade where they supposedly said, "We're coming for your children," but it was Juan Guy, likely the one behind the camera lol. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. There was a huge thing. Fox News covered it for like what felt like weeks. It might have just been days, but it was like over and over. Everyone in the conservative space had an opinion. Literally hundreds of videos made from every grifter, every ideologue, every demagogue. But the speech, the word said, came from the person holding the phone that was recording. So you can, all you need to do to add up hundreds of millions of views in combined right-wing grifter bullshit is to step out there with your phone, say it, and then leave and pretend it wasn't you. That's literally it. That's all it takes, which is one of the reasons why I recommend not hyper-fixating on, like, purging the Juan Guy phenomena, because you can't, because it's impossible to deal with, you know? The suspended students had their stuff removed from their rooms. Dude, seriously? I would need some more evidence. I mean, that's pretty much what it looks like, though. They just dumped it in an alley? Why? What benefit would there be to clearing that room that quickly? I don't know if I believe that. That's the stuff they left in the lawn? That makes more sense to me. Look at this. A lot of these are tents. Look at all the, like... Yeah, that makes more sense to me. That makes more sense to me. Like, they would have left stuff there, and then the police would have cracked down on the protest, and then they would have cleared it all out. Still fucked up? They're still fucked up, yeah, but that makes more sense to me. It wouldn't make any sense for them to hastily clear out a room like that. There wouldn't be any rush.
Protest and have a voice, despite whatever we think.
Look, I mean, if it truly was an unauthorized event, like, I'm part of other organizations on campus. Like, if you don't go through the necessary procedures, like, Columbia is well within their rights to suspend you. Like, every organization on campus has to follow those rules.
I think it's completely unjustified. And
I gotta say, I feel like we're not getting anything from this video. Like, at all. Like, they're just, yeah. I'm not getting any information from this video. This is an older one from like 2 weeks ago. These were like the preceding protests. You know? The ones that led to the current big protests. So here's the Hamas lady, the Hamasling, who came back from the wedding. From ADL.org. Ah. The most reliable source of information on Jewish issues, right? So Nordin Kiswani is an anti-Israel activist and co-founder of WL, a radical New York-based anti-Israel organization that routinely expresses support for violence against Israel. Okay, so far so good. Kiswana's anti-Semitism, we should substantiate that, is clearly expressed via her expressions of extreme anti-Zionist rhetoric. Remember, guys, the ADL is fine about hate speech until it comes to anything involving Israel or Zionism, at which point it will be, like, violently anti-Semitic. Like, massively anti-Semitic. Including her calls for all Zionists to be vilified and expelled from community spaces, okay, as well as her support for indiscriminate violence against Israel aimed at the country's dissolution, okay. Kiswana and WOL organize rallies in New York City that have drawn thousands of attendees, including events outside the Israeli consulate and pro-Israel organizations such as the Jewish National Fund, okay. Isn't that more of an argument in her favor? because the Israeli consulate is a government building and pro-Israeli, or it's not like she's doing this outside random synagogues, right? Kiswani and her organization explicitly call for the complete eradication of Israel, okay, including for Israel to be wiped off the map, okay, and have called for Israeli Jews to leave the country, born from both the West Bank and in Israel proper. Okay? Wait. And have called for Israeli Jews to leave the country. Okay, by the country, they mean Israel, not America. Yeah, okay, fine, sure. I like how they have to add in parentheses both from the West Bank and in Israel proper, because even the hyper-Zionist ADL understands that a lot of people recognize the fact that the UN has deemed the West Bank settlements in violation of international law. So they have to be like, no. She doesn't just want the Israelis to leave the West Bank, you know, where they've been violating international law. She wants them to leave all of Israel, you know, that caveat. WOL and Kiswani frequently express support for acts of terror perpetrated by U.S. designated terror groups. Who doesn't, honestly? Including the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. Yeah, I know that these guys have been known to post cringe. I guess it would depend on like what exactly they defended or said. Like keep in mind, by the way, for any people in chat, who are like going to be inconsistent about this, I have literally defended the Azov battalion in fighting against Russia. Remember? I have literally said, hey, listen, all right, those Nazis, if they're going to do anything with their shit lives, they should fucking, you know, grease the treads of a Russian tank, you know? So like, let's apply this consistently, shall we? Just keeping that in mind. Iswani habitually asserts that all Zionists, including American Jews who support Israel, yes, that would be as that what is this reach? Kiswani habitually asserts that all Zionists, including American Jews who support Israel, yeah, that would be the definition of Zionist, supporting Israel, right? Like whether or not they're American Jews, just really trying to reach there, are inherently bigoted and should be ostracized. On several occasions, Kiswani and WOL have promulgated classic anti-Semitic tropes, including those related to Zionist control over media and politics. Zionists do. The biggest group of Zionists are evangelical Christians. That's true. Kiswani's been platformed by leftist outlets, widely known over here. Nice. Okay. So far, so good, I guess. Yeah, but the point is the Azov battalion would be killed in combat. Vosh a little different. I don't know, guys. I feel like so far in this stream, I have not yet declared my support for the Ayatollah of Iran. But like, I feel like a lot of people in chat, a lot of liberals, you guys are okay with some of the spicier stuff that I say because I'm funny. But when I say I think Iran should have regional hegemony in the Middle East, I mean Iran should have regional hegemony in the Middle East. Not, mind you, because they're morally good, but because the material circumstances of the Middle East are clearly frozen in place while Iran fights 17 proxy battles with the 50 trillion billion fucking... Sorry, I almost slipped there, guys. Almost slipped my greater Iran all the way out past the Atlantic plan, yeah. Like there are so many positions that you can take that are so much more nuanced than mainstream media will ever allow you to cover. So if Nerdeen Kiswani said something like, hey, this radical militant Islamist group is selectively useful in that it engages in some anti-colonial activity, how is that any different from me having said that about Hamas? I don't want to defend her statements too strongly because I haven't even seen them. I just know for a fact that people in chat have heard me make nuanced statements and have gone, okay, Vosh doesn't think Hamas is good. Hamas is for the most part like dangerous LARPing Islamists who oppress the Palestinian population and steal money from them. That is true. But as a wedge against Israel, Hamas's existence is like, you know, not only is their existence a product of something Israel has created, right? But in addition to that, if you understand what like the dynamic has been boiled down to, what with the whole like genocide thing ongoing, if somebody says, yo, we support Hamas, it's more likely that what they mean by that is they support Hamas in an anti-colonial sense than they support Hamas in like the most extreme Islamist sense. And if you don't think that's true, why do you think so many progressive left-leaning people flippantly say good stuff about Hamas? Like, they know that Hamas isn't progressive, or at least I hope they do. A lot of them do. Like, if you ask a left-leaning person, well, how can you support Hamas when they would throw you off a rooftop? What does that make you? That's right, a retard. A retard on Twitter operating at a single-digit IQ level. You know, you're like the swampy morass of cognitive deficiency. Like, you're the sludge that real humans walk through, right? So maybe a smart left-leaning person could say, I don't think that Hamas is good on social issues. I think that Hamas, in its current capacity, is the only possible, like, antagonistic force against Israeli colonialism. Now, I would argue they've done a terrible job about doing that. You know, I think October 7th was, because you could legitimately justify, like, acts of great violence against Israel from Hamas's perspective, but obviously, what do we try to avoid, folks? That's right, civilian targets. Try not to. You don't want to do that. After all, you know, if if Hamas, you know, just goes and starts killing people indiscriminately, you know, they might end up accidentally killing, what was it, 300, 400? It wasn't an accident, you know, they could kill 300, 400 civilians. Why? That's almost as many as the, like, 30,000 that Israel has killed. Yeah. It was 1,200. 1,200 was the total number dead, but a lot were IDF. I don't remember the exact number of which were civilians. So say 800 civilians were killed. I thought it was 800 military, 400 civilians. Whatever. Yeah, sure, 800 civilians. Kiswani and the WL have expressed full unabashed support for all forms of resistance against Israel, regardless of the brutality of the violence. On social media, she and the WLO made their veneration of violence against Israelis clear. After the State Department designated terror organization Hamas, nice, claimed as members all 5 Palestinians killed in an Israeli military operation in Jericho, WOL shared an image of them, declaring them freedom fighters and saying that WOL was in rage and mourning. Okay. All right. Following a... Oh, this is in 2014. Following a PFLP shooting and meat cleaver attack that killed 4 worshippers in a Jerusalem synagogue. Uh-oh! Kiswani shared PFLP statement justifying the act of terror as a natural response to Israeli actions. Uh-oh! That one's bad. We found one, guys. We found one. The operation today in Jerusalem is a natural response to the ongoing racist policies and crimes. The occupation is the occupation that is responsible for the escalation in Jerusalem and throughout Palestine. We are witnessing lynchings, the targeting of Palestinians, demolishing homes, confiscating land, building colonies, taking unprecedented measures against Muslims and Christians' holy sites in Jerusalem on a daily basis. Wait. Following a PFLP shooting and meat cleaver attack that, like, both? Like, they had a gun and a meat cleaver? Wait. PFLP shooting, but then PFLP's statement justified the act of terror, but then they describe it as a natural response? So wait, they're calling their own operation a natural response? That's really weird. That's like a very weird, like, distancing of oneself from your own... Gun and meat cleaver is a pretty standard melee range setup. Thank you, thank you. Several initial reports claimed that the PFLP had declared responsibility for the attack. Other sources say declarations by PFLP militants were either confused or that the group itself disclaimed responsibility. Israeli authorities said it seemed the men acted... Wait. Wikipedia says that apparently even Israeli officials claimed that these two acted alone, but in the ADL article, they refer to it as a PFLP shooting and meat cleaver attack. Oh, is this the same? It has to be. How many 2014 meat cleavers shooting? So does she in the post, though. Shouldn't they correct that? So Nerdine Kiswani thinks that the PFLP is doing this and is defending it, but the ADL is reporting it as though it actually was a PFLP shooting and meat cleaver attack, even though apparently these two acted alone. So she's not... Wait. Kiswani shared PFLP's statement justifying the act of terror as a natural response. Wait. Chat, shut the fuck up with your jokes. The PFLP took credit, yeah? Wait, but then why in the Wikipedia article did it say not? Did they take credit but they lied? Several initial reports claimed that they had declared responsibility. Other sources say declarations by PFLP militants were either confused or the group had disclaimed. Israeli authorities said the men had acted... So wait, who... The PFLP was initially reported as claiming responsibility for the attack. Hani Thabta, a PFLP leader in the Gaza Strip, said, "We declare full responsibility of the PFLP for the execution of this heroic operation conducted by our heroes." On the PFLP's website, I love terrorist groups that have a website, by the way, really convenient. Khalil Makdesi of the PFLP's Central Committee said the occupation was reprehensible and the PFLP will continue to target every institution of the occupation. Israeli authorities said the men had acted alone. Wait! The two men were reportedly affiliated with the PFLP and were identified as two of their members, but their family said it was unaware if that was the case? So... Okay. All right. Weird. Yeah, okay, comrade, that seems the most likely. The PFLP had just claimed that they were the ones who did the attack, and she's responding with the assumption that the PFLP had done it. It's just weird that the ADL just refers to it as a PFLP shooting and meat cleaver attack. And then they say Kiswani shared PFLP's statement. So is this not even her writing? Our message today to the Jewish people around the world. Yeah, okay, she's not even typing this. This is just the statement from the PFLP after they falsely claimed that they were responsible. Okay. All right. I have read it. The statement isn't even that bad. Yeah, the statement's kind of weird. Like, You're taking responsibility for a meat cleaver attack, killing civilians in a synagogue, and then you go on to say, our message today to the Jewish people around the world is that the Palestinian-Israeli conflict was never a conflict between Muslims and Jews. Palestine has embraced the Jewish community for hundreds of years. Like, okay. All right. Well, that's pretty wacky. Kiswani shared a meme in her Instagram account reading Little Miss telling everyone Israel will be wiped off the map, inshallah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it seems like she's done nothing at all wrong except for reposting this 10 years ago, which is pretty bad. On at least 4 occasions, Kiswani and WL have used social media to share classic anti-Semitic tropes related to alleged Israeli and Zionist control or nefarious influence over Hollywood. The only thing here that I don't like is the one from 2013 where she says she shared a quote on Facebook that included, "Despite the almost total control of the major media conglomerates by global Zionism, The advocates of pro-Palestine are winning the war on social media. So this is wrong for a few reasons. For one, Zionism isn't a globally supported position. Like, it propagates in the West, but for the majority of the world, like, look at the UN votes regarding Israel and Palestine, right? Like, the idea, it's not a global system. It's Israel as like a front for Western influence, and then the West, right? Yeah, I agree, Benjamin. I also don't like that it's capitalized, because capitalizing this gives it a kind of like mythical weight that compares to like the JQ stuff, you know? Global Zionism, capital G, capital Z. I don't like that. Sharing a quote like that, though, 11 years ago, yeah. This is like 99% her being anti-Zionist, and then there's some like dicey stuff there. Canary Mission has made a video. But what's Canary Mission? I wonder how often she talked about the Global Zionist Project. I mean, it's one retweet from 11 years ago. I really don't think that we should... All right. Why are we talking about all this? Oh, that's right. Columbia protest. And she was there. That's right. Sorry to derail, but since we're talking about Palestine, Israel recently airstriked Rafah, killing 22. Yep. Whenever you see baby in Gaza saved from womb of mother killed in Israeli strike, 19 people died overnight in intensified strikes as of today. If you see people waving the Israeli flag, they are 100% in favor of all of this. They jerk off to the thought of it. All of them. Like, just always keep that in mind with, like, the dichotomy here, okay? Always remember. Yeah, 13 children from one family. What is being said? Am I supposed to be scared? What's being said? They're saying that everyone, this guy, it's the professor, it's always this professor, is saying that they're terrorists. What are they saying? I can't make out the words. I don't.
It is? Why are they following us? Keep it up.
Can you help us out? It's okay.
But like this is. Am I scared of this? What's happening? Yeah, I don't. They're speaking terrorist, I think. Ah, that's why I couldn't understand him. All right, that's enough on the damn topic. I think that chant was the one translated from the water to the water. It sounds so silly. All right, yeah, we talked about that for like an hour. We haven't even gotten to the thing that's in the title, which we should do, because I did want to play some games today. For the first time in a billion years, two organisms have merged. That's kind of a clickbaity title. Where the powerhouse of the cell comes from. Okay, this is a whole science thing. I'll have to look into it later. Maybe it is really cool, but it's also not something I can just understand at a glance. All right. Okay, I gotta get in the zone here. I'm gonna have to use my brain a little bit. Okay, so is all true? Twitter users know. Alex Jones has been back on the platform for a little while. And yesterday, which was both Weed Day and Hitler's birthday, Alex Jones posted, "Happy birthday to the man," he means Hitler, "who got 24 million Germans killed. Hitler also launched a world war that killed another 80 million people. Just because our rulers are evil does not mean Hitler was good. Fuck Adolf Hitler." So Alex Jones is a huge grifter and has said a lot of stuff that he doesn't believe, but this isn't a surprise to me. Alex Jones' particular model of far-right conspiracism has always been very libertarian-leaning. You can actually get a pretty decent litmus test, I guess, for what kind of far-right lunatic you're talking to, because people who like Alex Jones tend to be earnest, straightforward, and libertarian, and people who are on the more like alt-right Nazi side of things tend to be sneering, condescending, deliberately dishonest, and very authoritarian. If you look at Alex Jones's bits where he talks about how the country's being destroyed or whatever, which, you know, is all the time, he doesn't really say stuff like the government should crack down on everyone. You know, that's not like, he doesn't tend to say stuff like, you know, they should all be arrested, because again, he has a very libertarian flavor to his particular brand of like nuttery, you know? So he has his own like flock to cultivate, basically. So this isn't you know, this isn't surprising to me, but I thought it would be interesting, kind of like as an academic exercise, for us to see what the replies to this tweet were like. Ooh, that's a spicy meatball. 7.2 million views, 4,000 comments. And yes, you're correct. It's almost all Nazis getting mad at him. Now, the core of Alex Jones' audience isn't Nazis for the same reason that I've said before, the sort of like libertarian-authoritarian divide. Nazis like him because a ton of the stuff he says is crazy far right, sure, but they're not really his core audience, you know? Because at the end of the day, the Nazi fantasizes about the strong man taking control, whereas Alex Jones talks more about like the people awakening. And sometimes those arguments overlap, right? Like Nazis also believe in like a day of the rope, for example, but they do it in the service of a strong man taking over, you know? Does that make sense? So because he's in the Nazi orbit, they all flock to him when, you know, when he posts fuck Hitler, right? So I wanted to take a look at the way the Nazis in the comment section talk to him. Can we do that? Because I think it's interesting. You know, I want you to think for a second. How would you feel, all right? How would you feel if a figure, a political figure, who you kind of like, but not totally, you know, they're in your orbit, but you're not a huge fan, said something to, and I'm doing like the full-on mirror here, I'm doing the parallel, right? Said something like, you know, fuck Bernie Sanders, or fuck Rosa Luxemburg, or fuck, you know what, Lenin, whatever, you know, something like that. I don't know. Just think of a left-leaning figure. You know, how would you go about dealing with somebody who you kind of like denouncing a figure who is on your radical end of the spectrum, more radical than them? Okay, here's an example I might think of. How do you think left-leaning people would respond to John Oliver saying he doesn't like anarchism? Like John Oliver posting on Twitter, and he's like, you know, I don't care for anarchism or something. Like, that would probably prompt a lot of responses from sneering, condescending leftists who would tear into him for that, right? Like, I just want to establish like a parallel, you know? So let's take a look. So a lot of these I'm just going to have to skip through, because now that this post has been up for a day, a lot of people have come in here to laugh at all the Nazis, right? Let's see. I'm sick of these kinds of characters. From what I'm seeing in the comments, Hitler is becoming a mythic hero in a world gone mad. Interesting times ahead. True, Churchill wanted it. Right, here we go. Alex Jones will question anything except the official World War II narrative. Now, I want you to think about the tone of this post, okay? I said before that when Nazis post, they often, like, it's a consequence of, and I'm not joking here, you know how Nazis have very little personalities? They tend to be very weak-minded people who fell in with online, like, cliques that gave them a sense of identity. The mode of conversation expressed by Nazis is genuinely a product of Pepe. Or in this case, the Groyper. The smug, condescending, I know something that you don't know, I'm better than you look, that because they're weak and don't have like strong identities of their own, that genuinely is like the motivating framework for them. That is how they think they should interact with others, even if it's not very good at communicating, you know, their position, right? So Alex Jones will question anything except the official World War II narrative. This is obviously not meant to convince Alex Jones. It's just meant to, like, I don't know, react in a way that gets engagement from this person's followers. So, you know, it's not like an effort at communicating directly, but, you know, they go on and argue. If you want to see the real arguments, by the way, it's in the sub-comment section. Here we go. This is where the Nazis really fester. Name 10 books. Please list out 10 of these hundreds of books you've read on World War II. I've read a great deal on the topic, and I am still willing to deny the obvious. The obvious that they're referring to is the Nazi version of World War II, which is that the Jews began World War II by attacking Germany somehow, and that everything that happened after that was self-defense. That's their version. I'm not sure I know a single person who knows the full context picture who agrees with your take. It's impossible to trust in organic motives here. This is all kind of like a non-statement. Who wrote these, quote, over 100 books? The implication here is that Jews wrote them. Who owned the publishing companies that printed those books? The implication is that Jews own those publishing companies. The good guys always write the history books, Jones. Bad guys never win wars. So here the implication. This is why, by the way, the history is written by the winners bit is bad, and it's not a good argument, you know, because the implication then is, oh, well, the only reason that the Nazi narrative is considered false is because they lost the war, right? Anything by David Irving, right. They would have called themselves National Socialists if they really were. Only Jews call Nat-Soaks Nazis. Again, it's such a, like, comically stupid thing to say, but this guy probably believes it. Only Jews call National Socialists Nazis. That's true. Only Jews use that term. No other ethnic, cultural, racial, or religious group uses that term. Such a good goy, saying that he's like a pet in the Jewish machination. David Irving, he's a Holocaust-denying writer. How much do they pay you, Jones? Asking, again, it's Jews. Who ran the post-World War II trials? Good people? I don't even know what this is meant to imply, to be honest. Did you happen to check who the authors were and who owned the publishing houses? This is almost word for word the same as the earlier comment. So yeah, I guess that's like a common refrain. Here we're posting a video, but we're not looking at a fucking Holocaust denier video. I don't care. From the what, 80s? Jesus Christ. They have no mind of their own. No, they don't. That's what I want to demonstrate, okay? I want to demonstrate a tendency. First of all, they are incredibly condescending, but not because they have knowledge that you don't. The condescension isn't because, you know, they have all these things that they're aware of and you aren't. The condescension is an in-group, out-group distinction because they think that you're with the Jews and they're not. The sneering condescension here is a belief that they have that to a normal, regular person, they are either aware of the fact that they are controlled by Jews, or they would be embarrassed or humiliated to have it pointed out. The reason I feel it important to point this out is because I want you to understand how insular and kind of insane their worldview is. Nazis on Twitter, and Nazis broadly, genuinely think that it is an insult in the minds of the average person to be accused of being controlled by the Jews. It's like a mental illness, right? Like, can you imagine how nonsensical that would come across to anyone? Like a normal person? Like, go up to a random person and say, like, you're bought in by the Armenian mob. Oh, okay. Like, it's the connection not found, but they believe it. So because they believe it, they think it's a huge insult when applied to you. Seriously, a lot of, like, most of these comments are in line with that. The in-group, out-group thing, where they think that, like, the burning insult, like, we can, you know, name the books. Alex, 100 books of Oy vey, I was burned alive and survived by weeks by breathing through a... Isn't... These are the only historical texts on the Holocaust that the Jewish people want you to read, okay? Oy vey, I was buried alive and survived by weeks by breathing through a straw. I remember reading that one in high school, you know? That's the only one they let you read, you know? No, these people are insane. Like, genuinely. They think everyone else believes the insane shit they do, but are too embarrassed to say it. Yes! That is a very, very, very common belief for reactionaries. They think that racists think that everyone is racist. They're just the ones brave enough to admit it. So when a racist accuses you of being, like, cucked by the black man or whatever, for whatever they're freaking out over, you know, they think they're hitting you in a very specific insecurity. They think they're hitting, like, basically, they think that they're getting you on being like a turncoat or a pick-me. You know, that's the feeling. That's what they think they're hitting you on, because they think, you know, because everyone has to know, right? Because they think it's such a big, obvious truth. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I wanted to go over this specifically because I feel like, here, look, wooden doors, Alex, wooden doors. Now, I know what this means because I've gone over Holocaust denial, and the arguments for it are really bad. Wooden doors. So basically, this is a conspiracy theory that the gas chambers couldn't have been real because the door to the gas chamber was a wooden door. Like, how would you do a gas chamber with a wooden open door? Like there are pores in it. How would you do that? Do you know where this comes from? That's right. Somewhere on Auschwitz-Birkenau, they took a photo of a wooden door. It didn't lead to the gas chambers. It's a big facility. It was just a wooden door. And they saw that and they thought, oh, that's the gas chamber door. So how could it have been a gas chamber? And that's where it comes from. There you go. It's that dumb. We do actually have some of the surviving. I think the Nazis actually tried to bury some of them too, because they knew how fucked they were when they started losing the war. They tried destroying and dismantling and burying the evidence. And one of the pieces of evidence they tried burying were the doors in some cases. The doors to the gas chambers were massive, huge steel, like industrial, super sealed doors with like these bubble glass. I mean, there were a lot of different death camps, so not just one type of door. But yeah, they were like submarine doors, you know? But anyway, so why would this person respond like this, right? Wooden doors, Alex, wooden doors. This doesn't make any sense. Unless you're already like familiar with the whole rabbit hole of Holocaust denialism. I tell you again, it's because a lot of these people are very socially maladjusted. A lot of them have basically no friends and aren't doing well in life. So in order to feel like... Now, I will be clear, by the way, there is a version of this that exists on the left as well, where people aren't doing very well in their day-to-day life, so they get really in with an online political community. The difference there being, of course, that being online and left-leaning is fine, and being online and Nazi isn't. But there is still a critical distinction. Do you want to know what that distinction is? Do you? I'll tell you. Go look through Nazi accounts on Twitter, whatever. Let's just say Twitter, okay? They will never, ever connect it to themselves in any kind of like personalized identity-based way. I don't just mean doxing themselves, like showing their face or their name or their address or anything like that. I mean that in most cases, the profiles they make for themselves are memes. This is Uncle Ben Respecter. This is Captain Forget About It. All of these guys have variations of this. You've got your Roman statue avatars. You've got your like pun names. And if you look at what they like and what they engage with, they don't really have individual personalities. They very rarely have like human moments in their accounts. They don't have like rich friendship. This is one of the differences that you have from people on the far left, right? Because even those crazy Stalinist accounts on Twitter, if you take a look at their like day-by-day interactions on the platform, they make friends. Like they do. They do. I'm not defending the tankies or anything, but they do. They act like human beings in a lot of cases. They will make friends. They will talk about jokes or TV shows or whatever else. If you look at the Nazi accounts, there are very rarely normal interests, normal conversations. It's just a framework for them being, look, here we have this guy with like the Nazi font or whatever. You know, I don't know what that fucking font is named. This one's called Blood, Iron, Soil. It's all of them. It's a complete commitment to the bit. I just think that's interesting. I hope you guys do too. It's their only personality trait. It's a genuinely like a very sad I do think that there are a lot of parallels that you could make between Twitter Nazis and Twitter far left. I say far left here with finger quotes because I don't think being a Stalinist or whatever makes you far left. I think that's just another fascist identity, you know, but I do think there's a distinction there because a lot of the people in that camp do act like normal people. To some extent, they tend to be pretty like, I don't know, weird or anxious or whatever, but for the most part, they act like normal people in the sense that they have these hobbies. I'm not even talking about like doxing yourself or anything like that. You know, anonymity is understandable if you're online posting as a Nazi, right? I just mean being a normal person. Trans Tory, you've got it. Their entire personality is built on hate. That's it. For a lot of these guys, and it's almost always young men, their ability to enjoy things has been burned away. If they see a TV show, they can't sit down there and watch it without thinking that it's slop being fed to them by Jews. I'm not joking. That sounds like a joke, but I mean it. Been online for long enough to know how these guys talk when they don't think they're being watched by normies, okay? These people are all suicide cases, okay? They get depressive, like, really easily over it because it's kind of like, you know, anti-Semitism is the stupid man's anti-capitalism, right? You know, you see this all-encompassing system and it gets them down. But the difference, of course, is that if you're anti-capitalist, you can engage with that system in a way that's constructive and dialectical. You can understand it like in an academic or personal sense. You can try to form caveats. You can try to address the ways in which capitalism affects you negatively and try to like build out little pockets of happiness for yourself, right? But you can't really do that if you think that everything in life is being controlled by an international scheme of Jewry, because what do you do about that? Well, you go online and you fantasize about doing the Holocaust again. That's all they really do, like at all. That's all they talk about. It's all they post about. That is their ideation. They talk about it the same way evangelicals talk about the rapture, or the same way that I don't know, the way like the COVID conspiracy theorists would talk about like Dr. Fauci being arrested and like everything being revealed and it was all a hoax and China did it. Like this is their life. Is that why they're so smug? I think they're smug because they're mimicking the behavior they see from other people around them. I think they're smug because they recognize, consciously or otherwise, that the only way to express Nazi political opinions online when you're in the company of normies is to be so irritatingly smug that no one would even seek to engage with you, right? Like, it's like exactly, it's a kind of false strength. You're on a roll, transitory. It's like, it's false strength. You know how smugness is exactly. It's a shield. Like immature people will be smug when they feel like threatened or attacked because it sort of projects strength insincerely, you know? And I think they do that. I think they do that themselves. Can you like imagine for a moment, if you will, what would a conversation look like with any of these guys if they tried to earnestly explain it to you? And I mean earnestly the same way that a Bernie supporter circa 2016 would have gone on Twitter and tried to explain to somebody else on Twitter how Medicare for all is good policy. They've got the charts, they've got the data, but again, they're earnest, friendly, sincere. Not to say every Bernie supporter was, but let's say these ones are. How do you think that would go for any of these guys? That's right. It wouldn't work because they're fucking Nazis. Like, no, it wouldn't work at all. What do you like? What they're trying to like sit you down and be like, no, listen, like here, like, and then they're trying to like explain their insane dog shit. Like, no, God, no, fight. It wouldn't work at all. And I think they're aware of that, and I think it makes them insecure because they look at normal people talking normally, expressing their positions normally. Again, here's another thing that distinguishes the right from the left. Even the crazy online tanky types, the ones who believe in Stalin or whatever else, can earnestly and in a friendly manner explain what they believe to another person. Can't they? I've seen it. I've seen it plenty of times. Even a lot of those crazy red fascist types can sit a person down and be like, no, like, listen, this and this, and be like sincere and like actually care and be engaged. Because even though Stalin was really bad, there are beliefs underlying why a person might be a big USSR stan that are defensible. This is not the case with Nazism, right? In Nazism, the reason people support Hitler is because they support hate and death, because they're anti-life. You don't support Hitler because you think that he'd make like civic policy better. Nazis don't care about policy. The hate is the point. Usually, people who defend Stalin are some level of misguided, though some of them are so misguided that they end up being aggressive advocates. But the underlying things they care about are much more defensible. For example, most of the people that I've seen defend Stalin online are against racism, sexism, transphobia, etc. They're in favor of free housing and free healthcare and dealing with homelessness by providing them shelter. So even though Stalin wasn't necessarily a great leader, he was pretty bad, the people who defend him online tend to be motivated by inconsistent, but nonetheless justifiable underlying values. Is everyone following what I'm getting at here? I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but like I think these distinctions are meaningful because I call a lot of people fascists because, as we all know, everyone but me is one. And I don't want that to blur out this like very meaningful distinction. I also want it known, the group that I'm talking about right now, the people that we're looking at, I am exclusively referring to Nazis. Not fascists broadly. Fascists can be online and act and interact normally with others. It's possible. A lot of them don't, but it's totally possible. It is the Nazism point specifically past which you become so alienated. The communities that you're in are so separate from what real people think and believe and care about that you are essentially in a mass suicide cult. Yeah, you are pledging, my death but for the West's, my death but for the death of my enemy. It is a death cult, really. It is a specific and very, very bad. What are their beliefs anyway? Death. That's it. Death. Death to every group except whites. That's it. That is their belief. Their beliefs aren't consistent. They don't believe things the same way that you and I believe things. They're not like us. Again, the reason they are the way they are is not because they like calmly considered their axioms, thought, oh, I think the best way to maximize these outcomes would be everything Hitler did. That's not how they got to where they are. A lot of them are very socially fucked. They are like there's no rational explanation for them being where they are from their perspective. Like it's purely a mode of self-destruction. It's like there's no reason for a person to be an incel, right? Like being in an incel community is bad for you, leaving aside everything else. There are people who have escaped the online Nazi cult, and I have never seen any of them not say that they were in a death cult. Vosh, if Nazis did manage to kill all the non-whites. No, Crystal Firex, you're missing the point. There is no real ideology. There isn't one. You can't go chasing logical contradictions. They are aware that they have logically inconsistent views. They don't care. They're well past like empiricism as a driving ideology. They don't care, I promise you. It's just irrational hate. But I wanted to look a little bit more Alex, quote, married into the family Jones. So this is them saying he married a Jewish woman. I don't know if he did or not. It doesn't really matter. Hey, Alex, who declared war on who? How many attempts at peace were rejected by Churchill? Why did Rudolf Hess fly on a solo mission of peace only to be locked away and tortured for 46 years? So again, why ask these questions? Well, because this is how Nazis talk. This is the way they learn to talk from one another, because they know for a fact that if they said straightforwardly, hey, Alex Jones, World War II began when the international Jewish community attacked Germany, and then, like, Poland had to be invaded or something. That's what they actually believe, by the way. They actually believe that. They genuinely think that the World War II was initiated by Jews. But he knows that if he just said that, that would look really silly. So this is another form of the smugness, right? By asking these questions, not only can you do the, like, just asking questions thing, but you can also prompt the other person to do more work than you. In reality, nobody wants to argue with somebody who talks like this. First of all, these questions are nonsensical. They're absurd. If you have a position, say it, coward. And secondly, like, how many follow-up questions would you have to go through in this format to talk to somebody who has, on the subject of World War II, asked, hey, Alex, who declared war on who? And then Alex Jones says Hitler invaded Poland and France. So just out of curiosity, let's see what they say to that. Poland was illegally stolen from Germany after World War I. So you might notice this is a different position from the one implied up here, what Alex Jones is responding to. That doesn't mean Poland declared war on Germany. That would mean that there was land Germany no longer had, and this is also wrong, but it's a different wrong, right? That's after Hitler attempted peace with Poland to save ethnic Germans from being slaughtered by Poles. Oh, it's the Russian excuse with the Donbass. In an area cut off from the mainland by the Versailles Treaty. You'll notice this is also a different kind of lie. This is what the Nazis said, by the way. The Nazis said that they invaded Poland to protect ethnic Germans in Poland, right? But this is different from the implication that Poland declared war on Germany. 88 in username. Wow, really? 88 in user? But, well, shucks, guys. I was on the fence, but you might have cracked the code. I think these fellas might be Nazis. Fuck off, idiots. Shut up. Jesus Christ. But there, more evidence to the point that these people don't have any identity online outside of the fact that they're Nazis. Europa, The Last Battle. Watch it, Alex Jones. Cross-reference the data and the books they source, and your eyes shall be opened. This is actually like a relatively earnest post from a Nazi, you know? From Wolf of Himmel. Again, that's all they know. That's all they have. Judea declared an economic war on Germany before anything else. You're such a good goyim. From Meme Nationalist. Remember, they think that Alex Jones thinks the way they think, right? So to them, being called like a servant of the Jew, that's a great insult to a Nazi. So they think by projecting it outward, you know. What was that guy's tag? What's Goyim? It just means non-Jewish person. Man among the ruins. Well, that's nice. To save Germans from being slaughtered. Oh, fucking gore down there. Jesus, what is that? I guess that's what you get for scrolling through Nazi Twitter. 3 of the Jewish partisan terrorists? What is this even about? I don't know every fucking Nazi conspiracy theory. Sentenced for the bestial slaughter within the stolen New Polish corridor? Incoherent. TOS, it's not TOS, you're fine. Probably not even real. Do you think the same thing happens in other ideologies at all? I think this ideology of self-destructive hatred can manifest in other ways. There are versions of this, right? But there is no there's no equivalent to this. No. There's no I don't think there's any other ideology that you would see like a meaningful number of people involved in that is this much of a death cult. I do think that the closest thing that you could see is it would probably be like the incel communities online, right? I think that there's a huge overlap between those two. And there's a reason, right? Like a lot of people in the incel community get pulled into Nazis. Yeah, okay, you say ISIS. I don't look at ISIS Twitter, right? I've seen so many posts from Nazis. I see how they talk and they're like weird pathologies. I've never seen ISIS people say stuff like in the abstract, yes, it's a death cult, sure, but in the immediate sense of how they talk, yeah, it just doesn't. I don't really know as much about them. I've been forced to watch Europa: The Last Battle. I don't know, how were you forced to watch that? Like, how does that happen? My God. How many shekels did you get for typing this, Alex? You sold out, brother. It's all like this. It's all like this. Oh, hey, SDL. I didn't expect the Third Reich to show up. I could have told you they would have. I watched it, or I was a Jew. I'm former far right. Oh, huh. Interesting. Oh, yeah, here's the Judea declares war on Germany. Jews of all the world unite in action. I remember this. I remember this. They all teamed up. It was all like a Captain Planet kind of deal. I want to look at one more. Here. So this person says, you sold out, brother. And Alex Jones says, because I don't like Hitler, I oppose all totalitarian systems. So like I said, this is the reason why Alex Jones doesn't cozy up to the Nazis quite so much, right? So let's see what the responses are to this. Incoherent, incoherent. I thought we already tried. From white _ elevated or white and delightsome, because again, like this is their whole identity. I thought we already tried the experiment of self-government. Do we just need to do it harder next time? I don't understand. It's incoherent, schizo, incoherent. Alex Jones, when he can no longer deny that 95% of his fans are just Nazis. Okay, well, that's one of our guys, I guess. Okay. Alex, if you would just once speak... Oh, hold on. Do we have a sort of bronzed photo of a muscular man? Yes. Like all extremely heterosexual Nazis. Like a solid coin flip on whether it's going to be a historical figure or just like an abstract, masculine, muscly guy. Because a lot of these people are deeply sexually insecure, and they project it outward with sort of like aggressive lack of self-awareness. But Alex, if you would just once speak to... Can you italicize text if you're using the blue check? Speak to the overwhelmingly Jewish nature of the Bolshevik Revolution or the post-war camps in Germany and the slaughter and mass rape of millions of Germans, gleefully cheered by much of this same tribe, people would respect you so much more for it. So, notice how none of this has anything to do with what Alex Jones said about totalitarian systems, you know? Also, another thing that Nazis do that they don't seem to understand makes them look a lot more repellent from the outside. They refer to Jews as the tribe. Funnily enough, there are also some wild Zionist types and like Orthodox Jews who refer to Jews as the tribe. And I think it's weird when they do that too. So I guess that's a horseshoe thing, sort of. Either way, yeah, the only people who are doing this are either like very Jewish Jews or Nazis. Just kind of makes them look weird, you know? Here from 83 Nationalist, 83 Cross, Heil Christ, ancestral citizen of Hyperborea. I think Hyperborea is like the Nazi Atlantis, right? Is that not Nazi Atlantis? Hyperborea was an ancient Greek thingamajig. Yeah. But like the Nazis were like, oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. There we go. Hyperborea and radical Russian nationalist and neo-Nazi imagery. Robert Charot first related the Hyperboreans to an ancient astronaut race of reputedly very large, very white people who had chosen the least warm area on Earth because it corresponded more closely to their own climate on the planet from which they originated. Nice. Reverse Yakub. It's in the ballpark. So anyway, yeah, a citizen of Hyperborea says, eventually you'll start to realize that all of our great white empires have had authoritarian leaders like kings. Jesus will be one when he comes back. True. He was very authoritarian when in the Bible, yeah. Yeah, that's why you never talk about Jewish power SMH. Mustache Man replaced God with the state and was against private property, no thanks? Does he mean Hitler or Stalin or what? Hitler wasn't against private property. Okay. That's why you will always lose. And then we have, hold on. Hold on. There we go. It's because, again, these people have no identities. It's Patrick Bateman in front of... I'm just going to assume that's a Nazi symbol, okay? I can't read the text and I don't care to. Prolific noticer. So, noticer, okay? This is a specific kind of Nazi dog whistle. It's it's like the most cringe of them. Like, it's more cringe than the previous ones. And basically, they've given up on making any prescriptive arguments about their beliefs. So all they do is say, anytime anything they don't like happens, there sure was a Jew maybe there. Maybe. And that's the whole thing. That's them noticing. It's literally them going, interesting. It's actually more cucked than just asking questions, because at least if you just ask questions, you're implying what you believe with the question, whereas in this case, it is literally just going like, Jew, and then running away. So that's prolific noticer, thought crime enjoyer, because he's a Nazi, right? Anyway. And this person's contribution to the conversation is posting archive.org, Adolf Hitler, the greatest story never told, full 6 hours. And I love the fact that Twitter cuts it off here because it makes it like a fucking meme, you know? Like, question the Nazi narrative. Here you go. Plop. Full 6 hours. Incredible. Except Jewish totalitarianism, because you refuse to discuss is or admit the reality of it. And this is, I don't know what this is from. A big fan of scenic views, especially from the river to the sea. Oh, shit! We got the horseshoe out here, boys. Is that the original Dune? I haven't seen the original Dune. We got the horseshoe here, boys. We found one. This is the student protester at Columbia that the media keeps making a big fuss about. This is the Juan guy. We found it. We found Juan guy. Don't nuke Israel. Okay? And this person has a black son, of course. I post Jew-critical stuff. Stay mad, tler. Again, that's... Okay, I don't have to keep going into their things, right? We all understand these people have literally no lives or personalities, right? Like, this is all they do. By a lot of these accounts post nonstop, too. It's not like this is their alt that they only occasionally use. These are their main accounts, and this is all they do. They don't talk like normal people. Something transgenderism, I don't know. The post was also brigaded by Poll. There are 3 threads up there telling people to go to Alex Jones' post. They always do that. Yeah, they do that they do that constantly because, again, they have no lives. These guys literally squat in their Nazi forums waiting for, to be given a link to a YouTube video or a Twitter post or whatever else to go in there and say, heh, Jew, and then leave. And then, that gives them a rush because the only thing they believe is hate, right? And because a lot of them don't actually want to go out there and risk their lives, and commit suicide by a cop, all they really have to get that little, what they do when they follow those 4chan raids, and the post hey Jew and then leave, it's the same kind of thing that the super crazy regressive incels do when they find pretty ladies on Twitter and say you're ugly. It gives them the feeling of maybe I'm trapped in this shitty system, but at least I can lash out at and hurt the people who are making it worse. And the incels think the people who are making it worse are femoids, and the Nazis think it's Jews or anyone who's pro-Jew, which to them means anyone who isn't a literal neo-Nazi. If you're not a Jew, that insult wouldn't make sense. Nope, but again, they don't really have a good understanding of how they come across to other people. Like, need I remind you about the fact that there were Nazi staffers on DeSantis's team who added him walking forward in front of a fucking Sonnengrad at the end of one of his presidential campaign videos. Like, Nazis are, nobody who was well adjusted socially would be a Nazi. It's not, you know? They're just online trench coat flashers. Yeah, well, why do you think flashers do what they do? A lot of people say that flashers flash people for an illicit sexual thrill. That's incorrect. That's not why they do that. They do it because the same reason that guys send unsolicited dick pics to women who don't want them, or harass women with, like, you know, calls or whatever, or text messages. They want to feel a flash of power because in the reaction of the person who's disgusted by what they did, they got to them, you know? For people who have very low self-esteem, who hate themselves and hate other people, sometimes like a flash of negative attention to them feels a lot better than like nothing forever. I mean, to an extent, Wax Newman. You know, it's like how rape is more about power than it is about sex. They might also want approval. No, nobody flashes because they're looking for approval. When people, like, have you ever noticed, you've probably noticed this either yourself or from like a female friend or something, that the kind of guy who will send unsolicited nudes is often very unattractive, right? If approval was the motivation, you would think that the people who were sending those unsolicited nudes would be like very well endowed or handsome or whatever. But no, if you actually talk to any woman, okay? Any woman, whatever amount of like unsolicited nudes that she's received, in a lot of cases, it's like older men, like 40, 50, 60-year-old men posting really like ugly, shitty nudes, like terrible, you know? And again, that's because what they want to do is like shock these young women who they hate. They hate these young women for being sexually attractive, for being desirable. These older, like kind of loser men, you know, they're upset or angry because they feel like they can never have that. So instead of being able to have that themselves, they want to like just shock them or hurt them in some way. That's it. Yes, your boy coming. I worked at a sex chat company. I can confirm. Well, Snappy, and that might be a different category then from the unsolicited stuff, but yeah. Okay, well, I think I made a point. Somewhere in all that, you know, maybe. Hypothetically. That's a lot of $5 words, sensitive Gooner. You're gonna have to dial that shit down for my IQ. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I feel like I'm going to. I feel like I'm gonna have to do some pretty substantial brain like I'm gonna have to shift my brain state a little bit to want to play Tomb Raider. I need to do that. You know, I need to reorient. I gotta shift. I gotta go ghost. When you discombobulate yourself, always, always. That's a lot of words, Kowalski. I'll take a look, but not right now. I'm not. What, guys? I literally just said like I'm taking it, and you all post links. What is wrong with you? Jesus. Okay. Well, anyway, Jesus Christ, Tempest. Okay. Annie Fitz, you can save the effort. I'm glad you're running for a state house seat, but if you were planning a conversation, I'm afraid I can't promise one. Oh, God. So sniffly. Oh, my God. Here, hold on. Sorry, I had to put my my nose down to the bidet. You know how it is. All right, I'm going to read these donations because I have TTS on for Tomb Raider. Cheeky Licks, thank you for the two $5 donos. I'll give this a look, though I can't promise it'll be right now. Semi Locon, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Sleepy Joe Biden, thank you for the incredibly kind $25. Really appreciate that. Please rate my great-grandparents' outfits. It's okay to show them they are dead. Really? Huh. Well, I don't know anything about women's fashion, and also, you know, we live in a different era, like time-wise. I don't... It's kind of hard to tell, like, with the proportions, and also the camera has taken these photos at an angle, which gives them really big heads, but, you know, all that being what it is, you know, I think it looks good. I can't really say that much, to be honest, I'm sorry. I do like this collar style, though, that has this little gap right here in the center. I like that quite a bit. I like the pin. It's clearly a three-piece suit, which is why the buttoning point is so high. Shaky09, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Mr. Krabs 420, thank you for the very kind $30. Yo, Voosh, been watching since mid-2020. Got any advice on not being a doomer right now? Girl I love cheated on me, and I feel like I'm meandering through life at the moment. Thanks, lol. What does ATP mean at this point? Is that what that means? I'm really sorry to hear that. Just keep in mind that people are stupid and incoherent, and that whatever other people do, no matter how much it may hurt, isn't necessarily a direct reflection on who you are. You know, it's very unfortunate, but you're not at the end of your life. You got some time left. All bad things that happen now will eventually be bad things that you reflect on in the future when it doesn't hurt as much. So just keep that in mind, you know? Cheese Cryptid, thank you for the $5. Really appreciate that. I will consider your bribe. Celestial Cat, thank you for the $5. Why did the Palestine boycotts not work? What actually helps Palestinians? Mounting pressure against the Dems, I suppose. I'm generally fine with BDS because it tends to be a bit more targeted. The problem with Palestine boycotts is that there's like no fucking correlation, you know? Boycotting Starbucks? Are you kidding me? Insane shit. Sovball, thanks the tier 1 sub. Good news that dipshit American tanky in Donetsk at the war start got killed. Yeah, I saw a little while ago. Pretty wacky. Hand with Legs, thank you for the $5. I'm glad you enjoyed the Custodes segment. Here are some models you painted and won local awards for. Oh, no shit. Yo! No kidding. Hell yes. I love how Imager just like naturally stretches the images sometimes. That's so cool. I love that. Those look fucking based. God damn. I love the rivers of lava. That's not 40K. Ugh. Kiwi TP, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Kakao Win, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. My goodness. I shall bring in more subs to increase better opinions. I don't know if it helps. Kakao Win, thank you for the 732. I must pay penance for my typo. Please forgive me. I'm deeply sorry. My error shall be recorded for all history in the annals of YouTube, alas. Anal. True. Shabazz, thank you for the 5. Examples of the Rusky mirror. What? What is this? Oh, this is about that tanky guy who died. Yeah, I saw. You know, he died for the cause he cared about. What are you gonna do? Viathan with a tier 1 sub. Random Fun fact I only found a bit recently. My paternal grandfather and Noam Chomsky were born 3 months apart and both grew up just over a mile from each other. Huh, that's awesome. Your paternal grandfather could have, you know, assuaged some of the more campus positions he would go on to develop. He could have changed the arc of history, you know? Could have shifted it just a little bit. Toxinum, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Hey, Voosh, have a couple pictures of my silly fat baby. REO, aka Speedwagon. Oh my god. Fat idiot. I love this one. Big, fat, chunky ass baby Speedwagon. Party Impo P, thank you for the $5. An example of the fascistic prescriptive view on work is Castro's Cuba and the pushing of voluntary agricultural labor and its integration into education. Huh? I don't know what you mean by this. We're all big Castro fans here, okay? So you've got a lot of nerve. I don't know what this is in reference to. Naomi, thank you for the tier 3 sub. Really appreciate that. Just doing a renewing. Thank you. Much appreciated. Cats on Meth, thanks the tier 1 sub. Iskal, thank you for the $5. Happy 420 to you as well, yesterday. Alloy and Stuff Slacker, thank you for the tier 1 sub both. Thank you, thank you. Corsnor, thank you for the $5. Would you consider someone using a dead rapper voice in a diss with the artistic intention to mock the recipient a good use? If not, we can end Drake. It was an AI voice? Okay. I think that's bad. Is what I think. Corgi Butt, thank you for the tier 3 sub. Really appreciate that. Big Booty Butches, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Started with TYT years ago, and now watching them feels like a fever dream. Yeah, it's pretty fucking weird. Drake used AI Tupac. It was Tupac? None of you said who it was. Why wouldn't you? Okay. Tupac. Tupac? It was Tupac? Iron Pond, thank you for the $5. Any advice when touring a country? No, I'm not a very good tourist, I'm afraid. But have fun in Istanbul for the time you're there. Appalachian Anarchist, thank you for the $5. I'm glad you enjoyed your cardio, even if it's left you feel like you're dying. Unauthorized Thing, thank you for the 5. Hey, King, incredible job in your weight loss. Thank you. Out of curiosity, have you noticed any difference in how people treat you compared to before? Are they friendlier? It's kind of hard to tell because a lot of my interactions are at least partially informed by, you know, the fact that I'm known, right? I mean, it happens a lot. I don't know. Service staff have always been friendly to me because I've always been friendly to them. So I don't really know. I mean, I get more matches on dating apps, but that wasn't a problem before either. Tell them about the Insta DMs. Oh yeah, Tempest, how bad have the Insta DMs been? No, they're nice now. Remember, more polite. Oh, weird. I guess people are more polite to you when you've got a flatter stomach. God Wings 101, thank you for the $5. You were featured briefly in Never Knows Best's most recent video. Talking about Gamergate 2 was one of the few people speaking out against it. I'm sure the coverage was fair and reasonable. Mindforge, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Somatic Discord, thank you for the 5. Hey Vosh, I've got a pivotal final exam tomorrow. It's silly, but please wish me luck. I'm wishing you luck. I think you can do it. Good luck out there, okay? Vosh, how do you go on dating apps without wanting to kill yourself? I don't think you should take that attitude to the dating apps that you use. I go on there just fine. You know what? And I match with plenty of people even before I lost weight, okay? Fucking itchy ass nose. Somatic Discord, thank you for the 5. Wait, I just read that. I'm so tired. Why am I always tired, man? Why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep? What if I just ended stream like right now and passed out immediately? Would that help? Would that... Is it Saturday or Sunday? It's Sunday? Fucking vermin told me it was Saturday earlier. I feel like an asshole for this because obviously like TTS video game streams are very lucrative for me, so there's a huge incentive for me to do them. Like, when I say like I'm tired and don't want to do them, like it's not even me being like it's in my interest to do them. You know what I mean? Like I want to do them, but I also want to feel good while playing video games because to me that's like I do it to relax, right? I mean, what if I just did it tomorrow? What if I just did a big I always thought the gaming streams would be worth less money. Well, the TTS always means more money. Thank you, guys. Whatever. We've got super chats to read anyway. Self-care is not selfish. Don't you patronize me. I have the easiest job here. Don't you? Yeah, self-care is not so. I'm playing video game. Okay, hold. Let me read the thing. Gonna read the thing. We can always switch up the game too. No. I like Tomb Raider. Look, I think maybe I'll just do the games tomorrow. Fucking. At least I'm reading donos today. Play Noita. Noita. You guys, do you even like my streams? You guys, you guys are always like, go to sleep, end stream. Is that you being nice, or do you just you're just trying to get rid of me, huh? You're just trying to get rid of me. I see how it is. I see how it is. I see right through you. Matt Villanelle, thank you for the 1 Canadian. Sean Ford, thank you for the $20. Zoolander gas station scene. I only saw Zoolander once, and it was like a million years ago, so I can't really comment on it. Theta, no. Benjamin Gilbert Liff, the other stream, gave me $500, which was very, very generous of him. I did respond to it that stream, though, but I still feel it necessary to point that out because that was, in fact, very, very generous of him, and I appreciate it very much. Gun Invalid and Lobot, thank you for the $2 both. Still alive with the $5. What are your general thoughts on people who are outright anti-porn? Okay, I think that you can be anti-porn in some, like, thoughtful and well-structured ways. I think that being anti-porn, like, categorically and holistically is psychotic. The idea of, like, eradicating depictions of sexuality as, like, a thing, that is wild, you know? That's so contrary to human desire. Like, it's so anti-human, you know? It's bizarre. It's bizarre, you know? To me, that almost seems like someone saying, like, well, why do people kiss? You know, there's nothing about kissing that's innate. And it's true. That's right. There's nothing about kissing that is innately, you know. The reason people kiss is because it's intimate and our faces are close and lips have a lot of nerve endings on them. But, like, there's nothing about that necessarily... Like, it's... I don't know. I can just imagine like a slightly more conservative framework where people are saying like kissing is porn-brained. Like, why do you have to lips are for eating? Why do you have to smash your lips together, you know, to as part of the like reproductive process? I don't know. Alexander Speaks, thank you for the $2. Really appreciate that. And Martian Mars, thank you for the $5. That's true. People who do debates are retarded, including me. Is what I'd say if I ever did debates. Koopa Testudo, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. I really, really appreciate that. TF2 got a mild to moderate performance update. Who would need a performance update for TF2? Did they do something to it that makes it lag? Valve is noticing us again. We're back. We're so fucking back. We're going to live forever. What if the reason why Valve has been keeping quiet is because they've been quietly refining TF3 for the past decade, and they're going to release it with, like, no fanfare? That would be very Valve to do that, by the way. Really, with no advertising or anything, and it just exists all of a sudden, you know? Valve can't count to 3? Yeah. Yeah, 4. Maybe I'll get good sleep tonight. TF2 is depressing. Too many memories. Would hate to play it and feel like a boomer. Yeah, that's why you have to make new memories with it. You know, you have to make it feel like something It's like re-entering a space you used to live in. You know, at first it feels like you're a guest in a part of your past, but then you start using it again properly, and it becomes yours again. Kowalski, that's not a bad argument. All right, thank you for the 5. All right, okay. I know, I'm the worst streamer ever, blah, 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 blah. I know. I'm aware. I'm going to send you guys over to Conyer. I want to do a big, all the games, no politics. Politics will be illegal. You're the worst. I know. I do feel bad about it, genuinely, you know? It's just, it's ultimately, like, it's video games, you know? It's my choice. Like, I can choose. I get to choose the path that I head down. And it's like, you know, I'd rather do that when I'm having fun with it. And frankly, I think it would be a better stream, too. That's always been my reasoning. It's always been, if I'm not in the mood, I'm not going to do a good job anyway. I'm not very good at doing... You know, I'm not very good at doing any kind of presentational work outside. Jesus. Quebecto, thank you so much for the 10 gifted tier 2 subs. My God. It's incredibly kind of you. Jesus Christ. $100. TF2 stream when? Honestly, a TF2 stream would be decently fun at some point, you know. That would be pretty fun, I feel. I'm not good at it. Just purely for the, you know. You should play TF2 with your community. Yeah, just you would have to know that if I did, I would be turning down off all the voices because as a streamer you would have to do that, right? Because otherwise everyone is going to run up next to you and go woo, or something to that effect. Like you would have to do that. Yeah. You got here just in time to see me leave the Radical Dino. All right, guys. I'm sending you out. I'll see you tomorrow. Blah, 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 blah. Take care of yourselves. And good luck with your exam, the person who sent that, Dona. I wish I had a good memory.